see that for bacon you get among the highest emissions. These two graphs are just indicating what happens to the fatty acids, to the unsaturated fatty acids in the atmosphere. And on the left graph, you see the green and the red lines indicating unsaturated fatty acids in summertime in Baltimore. The concentrations are awfully low, and we know that ozone attacks the double bond of the unsaturated fatty acids. And when you compare it to the wintertime, in wintertime, even during the day, we have ozone out there, and the unsaturated fatty acid concentration gets diminished, while in the evening, in the night, then when ozone disappears, the concentrations come up. This is just an example that primary emissions, when released to the atmosphere, not just stay there, they might react onwards. So let me go to some fugitive dust sources here now in the San Joaquin Valley. We all know when we have wind-blown dust, we can get fairly high concentration of PM10. We also know that the San Joaquin Valley is a major source for all sorts of crops in the US. And so here we did a study on if we can find some tracers for fugitive dust coming off fields, agricultural fields. So our purpose was not really to look for all sorts of pesticides or pharmaceuticals or other things which might be associated with the fugitive dust. But as you can see in this chromatogram labeled in blue, we could even just run into just like that in DDT and other pesticides in these samples. Also, what we see in the surface soils are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Depending on where biomass has been burned, that stuff just adheres to the soil, and if it's not exposed to the sunlight, that means buried, it will stay there for quite a while. We also looked at fugitive dust from feedlots and dairy farms, but as I mentioned before, I'm running out of time a little bit. We were mainly looking for markers which are really good to trace these fugitive dust sources, and so for feedlots and dairy farms, we basically concentrated on organic food items and how they might be converted in the rumen of the cow, and so make them usable organic markers to trace dust emissions from feedlots and dairy farms. Last but not least, road dust. Road dust is a major source for particulate matter, and let me just jump over that here. Here's just a cutout for all sorts of types of roads we looked at here in the San Joaquin Valley, and this is it's not the whole list of compounds, but what I want to point out, we have road dust is basically a compilation of car exhaust, outfall of whatever gets generated, what falls onto the road, what gets grinded down. And so naturally on paved roads in the cities, we have pretty much what we see coming out of engines, out of the tailpipe of cars, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and so on. But also in rural areas, we can then see some pesticides and plasticizers and whatnot ending up on the road. Wrap up. Thank you.